welcome to another episode of On the Capo podcast. I am your host, David, and alongside yours truly, we have our good friend Ahmed. How you doing, Ahmed? You're muted, my friend. It's okay. It's all good. It's Monday. All
You know what? It's probably better that you didn't hear what I said.
right, brother. Good, good. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Awesome. Very good. And we have the big man from South West Ohio, John. How you doing, John?
Getting there, David.
All
Still
right,
trying
my
to figure
friend.
out Saturday.
No, I hear you guys. I'm still recuperating from the punch to the nose that we had Saturday. But we're gonna be talking about the football. We're gonna be talking about the club. We're not gonna be punching the air. We're actually gonna be dissecting what's going on with our club and try to make sense out of it. I would like to remind everybody that we're live on YouTube right now. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, and we are on X. So, please let everybody know, hey, we're here. We just want to be a platform for the fans. If you want to join us live, you could do that by sending us a message. But prefer X or you know what? Let's do X since John is going to be monitoring that. Let's do X or Facebook. Those are the two that I personally prefer because it's easier. If we do all the applications that we have, it's going to be hard because I have to moderate. I have to do a bunch of different things. Also, you can comment live, as some of the folks here that Amanda is going to be reading the comments on in a second. Again, we want to remind everybody that we are also on audio on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you want to listen to us later. And we appreciate everybody that is doing that. Uh, Again, we're on YouTube at Davis Channel 76, on all the other applications Instagram, X, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. We are at on the Capo Stand podcast. So please join us there. We try to bring out as much information as possible. All right, my friends. Ahmed, if you don't mind reading the first two comments, and so we can move forward.
Absolutely. Carlos Perez says, "Good evening, all." Hey, Carlos. Nice to hear from you, man.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for
And
joining us.
then Jim D.
Jim
Jim D.
D. I saw
says,
Jim
"Oh,
D. I saw him after the game against Toronto. It's always great to see you, Jim.
Jim says, oh man, what is there left to say? Oh, there's plenty."
Oh, there's plenty. It's gonna be one of those shows where it's gonna be an interesting story. Before we move on, we can go to the OCB minute. Um, there we go. OCB, unfortunately, not very successful this past weekend, tying 1-1 and losing on the um, penalty shootout. Just to remind everybody, MLS Next has the rule that if the game ends in a tie, then you play for an extra point on penalties, sort of like they do on ice hockey. And our boys were unable to close the deal, but they're still in a playoff contention. So that's all we care about. Mohammed was the goal scorer, impressive goal. So we want to send a lot of good stuff to the boys at OCB. And also, there's an event that we have been invited, and you would like to join. If you would like to join us, this is the event of the year. If we can have the graphic, our friends for Orlando Lions Den podcast are going to be hosting on June 1st at 7 p.m. a watch party and beer release at this is gonna be at Hourglass Brewing. This is on 2500 Curry Ford Road in Orlando. If you're familiar with Curry Ford, if you are heading east, no, I'm sorry, if you're heading west on Curry Ford past Conway Road, that's the Hourglass District over there by Bombi and Primrose. That's where the Hourglass District is located, and the brewery is there as well. So there's gonna be a lot of giveaways, memorabilia, cool stuff. It's always good to get together. I've been to the parties by OC Fan TV, and we got together in an informal one with our friend Tom Lord when he was visiting from England. So it's always good. It's always good to get together on. It's our version of doing an away day. Really, we're not at the stadium. We are just doing our own thing. So hopefully it will be great. It's of importance because this game will determine which direction on the table are we going. As I have told you, if we're not on playoff contention by June 1st, we're not making it. Well, friends, the boys from Cincinnati, the former Whipping Boys, came to town and taught us a lesson 17 seconds in. So, impressions of the game. Let's start with Ahmed and then John.
All right. So I was thinking about this for a while, so I wanted to say something. My opinions right now are I managed to get a sponsor for my opinions. So my opinions are brought to you today by the letter L, by the number 0, as in the number of points we got, the number 13, where we currently are, and if we don't get any better, the number 14, where we're going to end up. And finally, by the League of Lions. If you don't know what the League of Lions is, and you are watching Apple TV, this is where our team plays Parcheesi, because apparently playing Parcheesi is just as important, if not more. And you're going to say to yourself, you see it right there. What the heck is Parcheesi? Parcheesi is an opportunity for the team to do some social gathering, which is great, but not when we're in 13th place, right? There's a lot that we could be doing. And I'm telling you right now, this is backfiring on them. I don't know. Have you guys seen any of this?
I haven't.
Okay. I put it on. My son and I were watching it. It was just like a joke, right? It was the idea is cool, but I'm pretty sure somebody in the front office is like, man, this could not have happened at a worse time. One of the episodes, they have the assistant coach. He comes on and he's talking to the operations manager, Joe. And he's like, you need to go do your work. And he's like, the game is more important. He literally said that on the episode, and they published it.
Wow. Wow.
Dude, the game, you can sit there and argue they played a good game. It was Cincinnati. If we were in 4th place, 5th place, you may get away with that. We cannot play like this against a team like Cincinnati, and all credit to the guys. I mean, they had a well-fought game. We, I hope Dagger is good. I hope, oh my God, I hope Rafael is doing. Rafael is doing well. They put it all out there. It's not about that, but we're in a position where we cannot afford to not win games. We've said it. You've said it. I've said it. John has said it. You need to win your games at home. Last week, they have that on the inside, the Orlando City Insider. Miguel Gallardo said it. He said it about the pride. He said, if you want to pretend to be a championship team, you need to win the games at home. He was talking about the pride and how good a job they were doing, but the message is still the same. We need to win the games. I said it when we started this streak of games. I was like, these 5 games that we have, we need to win them. It's been a disaster. And it's still going uphill. If you look at our next scheduled games, it's an uphill battle. So I don't know, man. I just, you guys are the more technical folks, right? We're not playing the way we should. Something needs to change. Don't tell me about changing a player. Don't tell me about everything needs to change. This team is the same team, and we're playing like it's our first time playing together. We can't score a goal against Cincinnati, and then we're going to say that the one goal was offsides. You can't leave things to bad decisions. That was probably was it the only good opportunity we had?
Second, we had one, remember, 5 minutes in off the corner.
Okay.
Get off the crossbar.
But that's it. So like, to me, I will support this team through and through, but we can't play like this and expect to win. That's all. I'm done.
Yeah, to go to with what Ahmed started with, it just shows where the priority of the front office, and that's everybody in the front office. um, Jared all the way, to the sporting director, to the owners, where their priority is, and it's about making it a fun time, looking like a fun time. Let me rephrase that. And the product on the field is an afterthought almost. And it's becoming more and more evident. I said this at the beginning of the year, and it's even been more magnified since the beginning of the year, that these owners in this front office don't give a lick about what's going on the field as long as their pockets are being stuffed. That's obvious. We bring in a 34-year-old DP who has 0 goals through
10.
10 matches, more than 2 months. And that includes 0 goals. He made 1 appearance against the lower division team and couldn't even score against them. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is we have a coaching staff that offers no inspiration in their press conferences. Everything's, we're just in a bad spot. We're fixing to make this. We're fixing to do that. Well, then do it. You guys talked this big game coming into the season, how it was Champions Cup or bust and MLS Cup or bust and all of the, Supporters Shield or bust. But at this point, the team's lucky to even make the playoffs. Oscar, you said championships or trophies are won in December. You got to make it to December 1st before you can even we'll talk about winning trophies, bud. You're sitting at 9 points. 2 points off of last place in the East. And we got waxed last time we played our in-state rival 5-0. We just got beat 1-0. We give up a goal within 17 seconds. There isn't one match this year, that this team has came out from the first touch of the ball looking like they're ready to play a sport, a game, a competition. They look like they think they can just walk out onto the field, do a leisurely stroll, and come away with a win. That's obvious by how one of your designated players are playing. One of your other designated players, Facundo Torres, who's supposed to be an attacker, all he knows how to do is take a couple touches and kick the ball backwards. He's an attacker. Attack somebody. Take somebody on one-on-one. Be a little bit creative. Be a little bit adventurous. Try to take somebody on one-on-one. You have 1 goal this year, and it's a penalty kick. I could go out there right now and make 7 of 10 penalty kicks against a professional keeper, and I promise you that. It's a penalty kick. It's a 92% make over all competitions. I would hope you could make a penalty kick. You have 2 goal contributions, I believe 2 goal contributions this entire year, Facundo. You're a designated player, thinking he was going to go to Arsenal last year or over this past offseason. Give me a break. This team is a joke. Like I said last week, we need to blow everything up, get rid of Oscar, get rid of our designated players, get rid of Pedro Gallese, play the young guys, sign Duncan to a DP deal that he can't pass up, and move forward. Because this season's done. Jeffrey O asked, I know I do this all the time, when is the cutoff for OC to make it to the playoffs? Probably about this time. This time next Wednesday.
June 1st.
Yeah. I'd even go quicker than that, David. We haven't won it. If we would have won this past week or at least drawn the last 2, I'd agree with you. But we're sitting with 9 points. 9 points. It took us going 14 unbeaten last season with 14 points at this, or 15 points at this point. We're 2 full wins, just as many wins as we have all year from what we were at this point in last season. And we had to go however many unbeaten last year over the summer. That's not going to happen this year. Our only attacking threat is going to be missing a month and a half because of the Olympics.
That's it.
It's time they just need to blow it up, take the full season to find out who your real players are, get rid of them in the offseason, and start all over come December 1st of this year.
Ahmed, or John, if one of you can read the comments before I make my statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I got it. Give John a break.
Yeah.
Jim D says, I drive an hour and a half to the stadium. 17 seconds in, the match is over. They still had Oscar's name up on the board. It's like paying for the pay-per-view of a Tyson fight back in the day. Boom, over. You know,
My goodness. See, this
abs-
Jim are the type of fans that I always talk about. The guys in your Gainesville, in your Jacksonvilles, in your Ocalas, in your Tampas, in your Lakelands, in your Melbournes, in your Vero Beach. Those guys that are, you know, far enough from the city not to be in town, but close enough that they can make the trip. And and and, and yeah, I mean, this club owes people like Jim an apology. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean,
no, no, no. I was gonna say he's absolutely right. And JJ, when he was on last week, uh, or the week before, I should say, he said, the guys need to come out with the urgency like they're behind. I think they misunderstood what he and I were saying. It's not about actually coming out behind. It's about coming out like you're behind.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
What's the next one?
that early on, it was just insane. All right, Thomas Dupree says if the team offered Duncan a good contract offer, would he even consider it? Has anyone asked him if he's even open to staying, or is he set on Europe?
There has been an offer. I can tell you that from good
Oh,
sources. The club has made an offer, an attractive one, and it's in the millions. It's up to him if he wants to take it. If I am Duncan and I'm given the opportunity to go play championship football in England, I take that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
It's gonna if he goes right now, if he goes to the championship and lights it up, there's gonna be teams in the EPL, or perhaps Germany or France or Spain that will take a crack at him. Uh, Scottish Premier is an option, but in my opinion, no offense to the people in Scotland, by itself, Scotland is only 5 million people, so it's considered a small league. Right now, the big leagues in Europe are Spain, England, Germany, France, and Italy. That's it. Everybody else are very small countries, compared to the population of a smaller U.S. state. So if I am him, I go there. But there's also teams that have been recently promoted to the EPL that could probably take a crack at him too. Teams that have been recently promoted from League One to the Championship that may take that opportunity. It's up to him. I think his agent and himself let it very clear that they want to go overseas. So we'll see what happens. What's the next one?
Yeah, Misael Rosa says, I don't know, but money always talks. I think in relation
Absolutely,
to
my
that
friend.
Duncan
Cash is
situation,
king. Cash
absolutely.
is
And then our good friend Johnny Ridner says, let John cook.
You forgot,
yeah.
for Johnny's sake, you forgot to say, I believe he still lives in St. Augustine. You forgot St.
Yes, he
Augustine.
is. He still is. I talked to him Saturday night. So, what next comment? We got two more
Yeah.
before I.
Yeah, we have Colin says, on the positive side, my wife loved that I saved us time and money because we stayed home for this one.
Yeah, for
And
sure. This is
and
the
then
one.
William,
This was the one to stay home.
yeah, and then William Aguilar says, ditch Ojeda and offer Duncan a DP spot.
Right, and I have to if you have the comment by
Yeah.
the screenshot of the comment of our good friend Cleon from Orlando Lions Den podcast. I've known Cleon for years.
There
Have
you go.
podcasted with him, and Cleon is a person that doesn't speak with emotions. Is very very analytical on what he says, and if he's saying this,
Oof.
it's this is a smoking gun, because how many times on social media, I want everybody to ask themselves this question: how many times on social media people say, and we have said it on this podcast, and I have heard it on other podcasts, what has changed from last year to this year on the pitch? We, same managers, basically same team. What has happened? And I will read this for the benefit of those that are listening to us. Cleon says, I cannot figure out WTF is the difference with this team. So I am close to landing on that. Maybe Jose Mabazan was the real brains behind this operation all these years. And
Oof.
I received a text from a good friend, somebody that knows more football than me, somebody who but his identity will not be revealed. As I always say to you guys, people share stuff with me because I'm a grave. I never disclose my sources. I did to a fellow podcaster, and he betrayed those sources, but that's a story for another day. You know who you are. All right, so this is in Spanish, so I will translate real quick. He starts joking because I have mentioned that Jesse Marsh was available and he will do great in Orlando. So he says, "When are we bringing Jesse Marsh? They are looking for a manager. It's not a gossip; it's a reality. In the office, they know that not even with Viagra they will lift the season up." And I said, "Jesse will be a success." Here, unfortunately, Saturday was awful, and I heard opinions that Jose Mabazan was the brain behind Oscar. It's not a rumor. That's a fact. I know this technical group very well. There's a lot of animosity between with the situation about Muriel. I think he ended up breaking the relationship between the front office and Oscar. And I said, "So who brought Muriel? Was it Oscar or was it Musi?" And he responds, "It was a request from Oscar." And obviously, I will not read the rest because then I will give out his identity. So there you guys have it. The guys talked about what was it, Saturday. I was dumbfounded. I sat down. 13 seconds in, Lucho Acosta once again destroys my sleep and my peace. And my roommate, the guy that sits next to me, showed up literally 5 minutes after this goal went in, and he looked at me and he goes, "We're already down." I'm like, "Yes." I mean, I did not find out how fast that goal had gone in 17 seconds for those of you at home, um, because the announcer was, or whoever manages the graphics in the stadium, was still showing who the manager of Orlando City is. The clock wasn't even, had not even started. This was a cold shower. This literally was the first play of the game. We surrender a goal. Um, I remember in 2022, Herman Edwards, former manager of the NFL's New York Jets, had a conference where he was asked a question, and he basically said, "Do you know what's the greatest thing about sports? You play to win the game. You play to win the game.
Herm
I don't care
Edwards.
if you don't have any wins. You play to win the game. If you don't think it matters, then retire because it matters." I firmly believe that, and I have said this, and you will see when the next video of Jose Fan TV comes out. I wasn't screaming or acting. I was talking to Zach the way I'm talking to you guys. I said the fact of the matter is we can scream until our voice goes out. We can jump like apes, and if the players on the pitch do not believe in their hearts that they can win the game, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. I ran into someone who have been in contact with a former employee of the club, and that employee's opinion was that, hey, the Wolves, the club is being profitable. The club is making millions, just so you know. Every game so far this season has been above 80% attendance, which is in the top 10th percentile of the league. Our club is successful in many ways. A financial, we sell a lot of merch, we sell a lot of food, a lot of drinks, a lot of tickets. We have a fan base that is engaged. The metrics on the social media are through the roof. Orlando City just received a award for the self checkout stations that you see in the stadium, the availability of food, and I will. It's on LinkedIn, so I will find that to so you guys know exactly what's the award. On the business side, our good friend Jared Dillon deserves a lot of praise. He has turned that franchise, that club around, and made it profitable. But he always told us what happens on the pitch, that's not on me. So I have to tell you, what's on the pitch is disastrous. And if you have ownership that sees that the money's still coming in, where's the incentive to win on the pitch? Pride, honor, keeping the stadium full. Maybe those are incentives, but I really don't know what they're gonna do. I can tell you that people were demoralized. They were angry. The fact that we went down to 10 men early on. In fact, that was on the 23rd second. Rodrigo Schlegel against, or I guess Rodrigo Schlegel loves to collect red cards. Um, Personally, and I disagree with Pedro Galese, who said, hey, if he doesn't foul him, we're down 2-0. My friend, you're down 2-0 with 11 men. Then they get a yellow card later on, and guess what? Now you have a man advantage, and you probably could have tied that game or win it. But, if that's the mentality that going down a man on the 23rd minute is, and they a goal down on top of that is beneficial, then I have a bridge in Brooklyn to São Pedro. This was disastrous. This was really, really, really bad, and the fans don't deserve this. And I am glad that out of all the people that they interviewed that day, Mikey Holiday was the only one saying, "You know what, this is trash, and we can do better." Everybody else, Pedro looked like he had left beans on the stove at home, and he needed to get back there. Oscar Pareja looked like a clueless man, no answers, just stuff that probably communications picked for him to write down. And I'm sorry, probably if you're an English speaker, all you heard was the good Kool-Aid, the feel good Kool-Aid. But when Spanish reporters were asking him questions, he was very honest. And the translation, I have to tell you, the guy that is translated, he leaves substance, context, slang out of the translation all the time. So it's a very sanitized response that you get if you are you don't speak Spanish, but your boy speaks Spanish fluently. We're gonna go to that in a minute. If you guys can catch us up with the comments, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Something else.
Colin says, I have no issues with coaches picking their players, but that means Pareja is even more accountable than before for this Muriel signing, assuming that's true. Agreed. And then Jim D goes on to say, in my mind, we weren't down. That match was over. I sit right by that corner flag, and that look on Pedro, Robin, Dagger's face said it all. They were defeated. And honestly, that's, for me, that's the thing. That's how they've been coming out. They've been coming out. There's been a disconnect. There's been that, that shock moment where it's like, what is wrong? Like, you want to walk up to them and smack them and be like, get your stuff together. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, come on.
And here's we brought up Pedro a couple times. I'm sure you guys probably saw it. Really ticked a nerve with me on social media. He was quoted, I'm guessing it's after the game, and said, I think when you look at how we played after going down a man and taking that into our heart, it says a lot about the team and the way we fought in those last 70 minutes or so. Completely agree with him on that. I thought the team showed the effort that we've been asking from them for 9 games. They finally showed it for about 70 minutes, but it took them being down a goal and down a man to show it. But then he continues to say, but football is like life, and in life you have tough moments, and you just have to face those moments and push forward and move ahead, and that's what this team is going to have to do. Sure, you're right, but life for 99.9 continued percent of people isn't making 6, 7, 8 figures a year to play a sport and win a game or to stop goals from going in. Like, Pedro, you haven't done a good job this year. You have nowhere so far this year do you have the right to sit there and say how football is like life. Because guess what, David, you do your job as bad as he's done it this year, according to statistics. Somebody's or multiple people's life may be on your hand because you didn't repair that machine correctly.
That's very true.
And I mean, if a surgeon, goes out and performs the first, let's say it's a 2-hour surgery or 90-minute surgery for this sake, and performs the first 15 minutes of that surgery, as sorry as this team's performed the first 15 minutes of every match this year, that surgeon's going to be in jail for medical malpractice because he's going to have a number of lives on his hand. So for Pedro to say that is just you want to talk about turning somebody that was a Pedro apologist into an enemy? He just did it. You don't equate a sport to life when you're underperforming like this. Yeah,
No,
if it was
absolutely.
last year and you had won or went unbeaten in all those matches in a row, and then had a couple rough games, and you said that, sure, but you don't say it when you're sitting second to last place in your conference.
No, and I'm gonna jump in on that, John. I always use this thing like, oh, in my job, I demand the excellence. That's why I want excellence from the club, because I people demand excellence from me. I'm gonna follow this real quick. If I work on fluoroscopy X-ray. Basically, is a technique of X-ray where every 30 nanoseconds is an X-ray is taken, and it gives you the impression of like live TV. And orthopedic surgeons use this machinery to basically do orthopedic surgery, reconstructive surgery, and all that. There's a chance that if the generator is not adjusted, people can get burned, people can get too much radiation, et cetera, et cetera. If I hurt somebody or I kill somebody and it's traced back to me, I go to jail. It's that simple. Best case scenario, my license is taken away and I will never be able to work ever again in that field. I demand excellence for myself, and I demand excellence from the players. And I'm sorry to Pedro. Pedro makes over $1 million a year. I always go around saying I make more money than you, this and that, whatever, all in a good fun. But Pedro's a millionaire, and if you go back to Peru, the guy is a billionaire there. And I'm sorry, Pedro needs to. What I hope everything is okay at home. Okay, I hope everything is okay at home. Pedro is not the same man. Something happened to him. We hope that he can find himself. But he looked very uncomfortable in that conference. He looked his answers were very philosophical, and I'll say it like I have said it on social media. Um, we are not here for moral victories. Moral victories get us 0 points. We need wins immediately. Ahmed, if you don't mind giving your thoughts, and then let our guest in.
I honestly, man, I don't have. I think you guys have kind of killed the whole thing. Um, it's just it might be. I have no words, dude.
If you can
Let's just bring him
read the
on.
comments, then
Yeah. No,
if
we
you,
did. We
if
read
you
all the
can.
comments. We're caught up.
Yo, we're caught up. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. We're caught up.
let's. If you don't mind, do me a favor and let our friend William Aguilar in
Yeah.
to hear his thoughts. William, you are on the capo stand. Welcome, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Nice to see you again.
You
Awesome,
too.
my brother. Were you at the game this past Saturday?
I did, yes. I
Okay.
was there.
Uh,
Mhm.
give us your thoughts about the whole debacle.
Um, well, um, there's many things I gotta say. First, overall, I think the boys played good. I didn't see any flaws more than just the goal. Like beginning, it was just kind of that, just kind of like what happened with us when we scored against who was it? The England Revolution, right? When we scored that goal that was quick, like 20 seconds. What was it?
Oh,
Minnesota.
that was against Minnesota United, a game that we ended
Hmm.
up losing.
Oh, right, right. I've forgotten. Sorry, but yes, yeah. So it was just kind of those goals. It's not. It has nothing to do with the team. Sometimes it's just it just happens. You're not in the game just yet, and you get scored on. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like anything else. Not miscommunication or anything. It was just it's unfortunate. Now through the rest of the game, the red card didn't really affect us very much. I mean, it couldn't have done much better with somebody else in there. Um, now, I want to say as well, I don't think it's Schlegel's fault, as many people think. If you
Hmm.
look at the recap on Apple TV, you can see that there is um, a miscommunication between the defenders, or like more like Cartagena was playing defender. Like he kept going back, and that was throughout the game, not just at that point. And I noticed that he passed the ball to Schlegel in a weird way of doing the pass, and then he like signaled like you just kick it out. But it was such a short pass and in a weird way that just the attacker was just on it. So to me, it's not Schlagel's fault. I don't blame the guy. He did the right thing. To me, um, sure, it was very unfortunate as well, but I mean, you cannot blame him. He did what he had to do, and he saved us from being out of the game early on. Um,
How was the atmosphere in the section you were sitting on? Well, what could you hear from the fans as the game progressed? Was it a good atmosphere, or was it like, oh man, I can't believe we're losing this game?
no, everybody was quiet. I had a row in front of me with a bunch of kids that they were making a lot of noise, but that doesn't
Mm,
really count to me. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they just kind of went. It looked like it was a birthday party or something, so they were hyped up, even though they don't follow around in the city. But
Hmm.
yeah, everybody else who because I sit with STMs all around, and they they were just quiet. None of the
Oh
chants
wow.
like followed up, even from the wall. Like the wall is broken right now with the whole Laura things going on, and
Hmm. Hmm.
even when they start chant or something, the stadium will follow. But I think it's hard to keep up with that energy, and I felt that during the match. Yeah, definitely.
No, I have to agree. Aside from that, it was Star Wars night. Obviously, we haven't touched that. I included a video of the event. Um, you know, eh, the day started in a very festive mood. I think Lucho Acosta just ruined the night for everybody. Now, one of the things that I would like to know, Will, is um, this coming up week is going to be a tough one. We go out to Philadelphia. Obviously, we're going to talk about that, and then we return home to face Miami, and then we're going to go on the road across the country to San Jose. Um, on this Saturday with Philadelphia, see us getting a result.
Uh, in the best case scenario, I see a tie.
Mm,
Um, Sorry, my cat.
no,
Uh,
that's all right.
in the best case scenario, I see a tie, maybe a 1-1. But that's like
Mm-hmm.
if everybody kind of learns from the bad experience we've had, which really hasn't happened recently. There's no change. There's no. It seems like there's no consequence to what's going on. Like they don't feel any
Great point.
pressure. Yeah. Um, and you can tell because last season similar things happened, not really as bad as it is, but there was a little bit more of pressure because we came off from getting the Open Cup, and um, just showing that we were growing as a team. But right now, I guess because we were second place, everybody just got comfortable, and they
Mm-hmm.
think that it's gonna happen again, and we're gonna go on top again, like last minute. Uh, so yeah, I mean, if they gain that confidence again, I can only see a tie, and that's being very optimistic.
Yeah, very generous.
Otherwise, I see us losing by two or more goals to nothing.
Fantastic. All
Yeah,
right. Well, thank you, my friend. We always love to have you here. Thank you for this is your show. You come in as many times as you want, and as you have seen, Will do. All you have to do is ask, and you will be on with us. Thank you, Will. All right, my friend.
thank
Hopefully,
you.
we'll see you next home game. Okay.
Bye,
All right, my
Will.
Yeah,
brother.
I see you soon. All
All
right,
right, guys. Ahmed, if
thank you.
you do me a favor and exit our friend Will. Oh, okay, it's
Yep.
good.
Yeah,
All
we got
right.
a couple of
So
comments.
yeah, go ahead, bro.
Colin says this team has to be 100% awake when the matches start. There's simply no excuse for it. It's a big problem if they're too nervous to focus. And then Jim D says, with Dagger, Rafa, Schlegel out, and maybe Brecalo playing injured, I don't have much confidence in Philly.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, Jim. That was going to be my next comment. I mean, we are limping into Philadelphia or Chester, actually, Pennsylvania next Saturday. Philadelphia comes from fighting 2-0 deficit and coming back from it to tie it in spectacular fashion. If you haven't seen it, their second goal was one that cures hiccups and wakes up the dead. It was insane. And if they are coming back on that high, I'm gonna tell you that I see us coming out of Philadelphia with a final result. And if you think I'm exaggerating, then you haven't watched enough football. The fact of the matter is that Philly is a good team. They're a playoff team. They had some unfortunate hiccups, but they had corrected the ship. And we are we lost two starters. One of our starters may or may not be at 100%. Do not be surprised if we show up with OCB guys to plug in the holes. Do not be surprised. Uh, in my opinion, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, let's play um, Kyle Smith at center back." No, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna shock you. Let's throw our man Thomas Williams on the fire in the fire. I
Mm-hmm.
think Thomas is time. Listen, we don't have time to play games with this young talent that we have. Michael Thomas Williams, center back, paired with the Viking. I think, at some point, these young men have to produce. We are not a charity, we are not a daycare. These are professional footballers that have proven they can produce. So that's that. Also, don't be surprised if we have emergency signing again of Wilfredo Rivera onto the bench, and I would love to see Mikey Holiday let loose once again. Mikey is a guy that, to me, that night was incredible. Seeing the fans who rarely call players by name, but Mike is one of us. Mikey is one of us, and he's a product of the academy. I met him last year during the postseason signups. Met him at the Publix in Buenaventura with my kids. His mom and dad were there. They took our picture. And Mike, if you're listening to this, or your parents, I just want to let you know, my man, this fan base really wants to see you prosper. I think this is the moment. I think this game, if 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 the manager thinks with his heart, he will give the opportunity to this young man to flourish. I honestly do not see us getting any points. If but football is cruel and unpredictable. Anything else, guys, to add about Philadelphia?
John. Oh man.
I mean, you brought up Thomas. I mean, he's proven he can do it at this level. I don't know why we won't give him a shot whatsoever. Um, I know the OCB schedules conflicts with the senior club schedule quite a bit, but in a situation like this, I think he'd be great to start or come off the bench if Brecalo's healthy enough. And heck, we're still looking for a number 10. Might as well put Rivera in there, see what he can do for a match. I mean, they're trying to do it for as cheap as possible. I can't, no offense to Wilfredo, but I don't think you can do it much cheaper than him.
Well, he impressed us at that game that we went to see
OCB game.
OCB, and he
Yeah.
can play the 7 and he can play the 10. He has done that with Puerto Rico against very good competition. And
Oh.
for those that have not heard me say it before, and we'll read that comment in a second, Ahmed.
Yep.
The Puerto Rico and the islands, they tend to play the Caribbean islands tend to use a lot of guys that play second, third, and first division in Europe that happen to have a grandparent or a parent that is from that particular island. These islands do not have leagues above what I would consider like semi-professional. And some of these guys, play Championship League One football, and Wilfredo has done very well against that competition. They fleece Guyana about a year and a half ago, 2-0 result. And one of the center backs was a player that I'm very high on, uh, uh, Terrence Van Kooten, who plays for Stevenage. a guy that, in my opinion, if we don't secure him this year, he may be stolen by a championship side. And Wilfredo basically put him in his back pocket, embarrass him. So I have to say that, this game is a game of opportunities. This can be our Waterloo, or this can be our Alamo. Okay, if we lose and we develop players to believe in themselves, and we show grit, okay, we show what we are made of, then we can move forward. Then we can go to Miami and say, give it your best shot, but we're gonna go down swinging. Or we can go and be embarrassed in Philadelphia. Not the first time that this happens. I don't know if you guys remember the end of the 2017 season, the one that caused our good friend Tom Traxler to lose his job because on live he embarrassed and called out the team. Okay, and if you don't believe me, we had Tom here. I had the pleasure of interviewing him and Jay Ratcliffe with the guys from OC Fan TV. I'm sorry, the Orlando Lions. Then I've been all over, so it's hard to keep up the podcast. And that's that. That's what could happen Saturday. We are choosing our path, and it's important that we play for the fans. There's gonna be a nice contingent of Orlando City fans in Philadelphia. Let's reward those guys. Ahmed, I believe that we have some comments.
Yeah, we have one comment. Colin says, I know it's a long process, but under Pareja, I was expecting to see more of a youth pipeline. That was one of the biggest benefits to Pareja when we hired him. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, and I have to tell you that we have produced on the women's side and on the men's side a lot of product that has gone to universities. Okay, has gone to universities. Perhaps the college game can develop some of these players, and we can reap the benefits later on. If you don't believe that the college game still produces stars, then here in Orlando, you haven't seen Daryl DK, and certainly you haven't seen Duncan McGuire. And the man that still holds the record as the man with the most goals in purple, Kyle Laren. These guys came from the college draft, spent more than 2 years in the college game, and their careers, especially Kyle and Duncan, I'm sorry, DK, in Europe, it is well known. Guys that have been with their national teams and all that. So that's I agree with that. Unfortunately, our product has not been directed to the first team. I think the first team right now we're on a let's win now mode rather than develop talent. I think this game it's blows that out of the water. This is a game of let's use the resources that we have and see how it goes. We're in a bad spot.
Well,
We
David, I
still
mean, winning now is all good and well, but we weren't in a win now phase 3 years ago in 21. We weren't in a win now phase in 22. We were kind of in one last year. And the one academy player we had, we sold off for a couple $1 million.
Granados, yes, that's
So
very true.
I wish I knew what, and it's not just our club; it's the MLS as a whole. And it started when DK left for England. I understand the draw from a player's perspective of going over and playing in Europe and one of the top countries: England, Germany, France, Spain, or Italy. But at some point, the league, and our team, Orlando City especially, has to look at itself and say, we're developing all these players, whether it be from college or from the academy, and then we're just selling them. And then we have to go and buy somebody that, one, is older than them, two, probably isn't maybe they are, maybe they aren't, isn't acclimated to the lifestyle and the culture of the United States, specifically, Orlando. And they're not used to the way we do things here as a club. So not only are you investing the money you just received, you're investing that to another player that's trying to fill that hole. You're also investing all that time to try to get them acclimated to the surroundings and inside the club together. So like with Duncan, even if Muriel was a success, or DK, or name a player that from around the league that has done well. Of course, there's some guys that you're not going to let get to stop the guy up in Philly, the 15-year-old. He's destined for great things in Europe, even though he's only 15 years old. But why not invest that money in your talent that you already have, and maybe in 2 or 3 years, instead of worth 5 or 10 million dollars, these guys could be worth 15, 20, 25 million, and then you can actually make some money and go sign a player, a player that's just as good as them, maybe that's a little bit older, a little bit younger. To me, that just makes sense. Invest in your own, and then it's, to me, it's a fruits of your labor type of thing. The way Duncan's came out this year changed my mind, because if you guys remember, I wasn't the biggest fan of him to start the year, but he's came
Hmm.
out and he's been really the only bright spot on the attack that we've had this year. And I mean, the man's all over the pitch, showing great. One of the few players consistently on the field that shows that he wants to be out there, that shows he wants to earn his living. Pay the man, pay him whatever he is willing. Pay him Messi's contract if you have to. I mean, the man's busting his butt around the field for us. You might as well.
He's the only one scoring. I have to tell you, the series, all-time series against Philadelphia, 7 wins for Philadelphia, 5 wins for Orlando, 6 draws. Last 3 games have been 2-1 results. Orlando winning all of them. Um, Philadelphia's hungry for revenge. They're at home. They usually have a
Yeah.
very nice home crowd. 7:30 Saturday. Hopefully the boys will come home with something. Just uh, um, we're down and out. You gotta do something. So far, the club's media, it has been very quiet, or very inspirational. Words of wisdom. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna sound like an ass when I say this. I go to synagogue to hear my rabbi tell me feel good stories and motivational speeches. I don't need my club to do that. My club is about taking heads off and winning. You know, and I'm sorry. You cannot spit on my cupcake and call it frosting. You cannot do that to me. Our fan base, guys. One of the things that has happened over the years is that those guys that came in knowing nothing about the sport are learning. They are learning. They're demanding. They know what good football looks like, and this isn't. And for those people that are like, "Oh, get out of my club." Last year we went into the recess for League's Cup, and we came back better than ever. Those people fail to understand that we are not the same club. We don't have the same amount of points. We don't have the same amount of goals scored. We don't have the same amount of goal differentials, and definitely we don't have the same amount of schedules. May is going to be torture.
David, we don't have the
Personally,
same team. We don't have the same team.
Well, they haven't
right.
gelled yet, Ahmed. They need time to gel.
They need time to gel. If you follow us on Instagram, we share the new product that is going to be sponsoring the club. It's a gel called Soul Glow, and just like our team, your hair needs to gel.
Listen,
Uh,
man, I mean, listen, I've been the one who said it's the same team. Physically, it is the same team, right?
but
With the exception
but
of a
we
few
know
people.
but we know
But
the brains are
mentally,
missing.
but mentally, right? Psychologically, on that pitch, we're the same people playing a different game.
Hmm.
We are playing a totally different game.
One thing I said at OC Fan TV is, if I have learned anything from 18 years married to the same woman, is that you don't
Careful
stop
what you
dating
say
your
right now,
wife.
David.
Oh no, listen, my wife knows. My wife knows. You never stop dating your wife, right? Because, and we're on, we are all in committed relationships here. We're all fathers, so I don't have to explain it to you. Maybe to our single folks, our younger folks in the audience. The fact of the matter is that you have to do things to your spouse that remind her this is the man you marry. This is what make you fall in love with me. You know, go out because when you get married and the kids come around, the focus is the kids and school and work and all these other things, and you forget to dedicate time for one another. Orlando City needs to do the same thing. 14 years ago, my wife handed me a stack of tickets and said, "The hospital sponsors a soccer team. Do you want to go to a game?" I told my wife one day I will emblazon those words above my man cave with all my Orlando City memorabilia. That question has changed my life. Has changed my life. And I've been there through the good and the bad and the indifferent. I have soldier on when everybody had given up on this club, and I am stupid enough to use my own money to podcast for 42 weeks out of the year for years now to talk about a team that manages to find to get me to be disappointed and to cry for anger more than cry for joy lately. But the fact of the matter is the football is like that. The beauty of the football is on the chase, on the suffering, as they say. So Orlando City has to do that. They have to make us fall in love again. Make us fall in love again with the club. What made the club good back in the day was winning, was closeness. A lot of the fans, by the way, on Facebook, where because I initiated this conversation where I was showing, hey, look at the gift, the season ticket holder gift in 2019 from the broke owners, and look at the season ticket member gift from the guys with $5 billion in the bank. Night and day, night and day. We have to allow the fan base to get close to the team, meet the players, get signatures, tell them, hey, I like you, man. I think both the fan base and the players need that interaction now more than ever. Otherwise, what you're incurring into is resentment, anger, reprisal, and then we may go our different ways, and players get paid the same, so they could be indifferent. And if they trade them or they sell them, oh well, they move on to the next thing. So we don't want that. We want to create an atmosphere that people can come here and say, I want to play and win for those guys because Orlando's a great place to live. Orlando's a great organization, and the fans are great. But I'm not here to kiss babies and win the hearts and minds. So
Well, and
uh,
David, to add on what you were getting to there, I'm sure most people that are season ticket members got it in their emails. I think I got it late last night. There was the survey this week was for season ticket members. Make sure you fill that out. Be as honest, brutally
right.
honest as you have to. I know I was. I'm sure David, if you did, Ahmed, if you did, you guys were brutally honest. And I
I
was,
always fill them out.
I mean, the one thing I kept harping on, they said, are you renewing your season tickets next year? And I said, undecided. And they said, well, what's your biggest deciding factor? And I said, the product on the field. And they asked me to expound on it. So I did. I think it made me, I had to delete most of it because it made me stop typing. I couldn't finish my point. But yeah, I mean, moving on. The reason I said I looked this up while David was going, the reason I said our chances for the playoffs essentially ended this past Saturday was up until June 1st. This is our schedule. And by the way, there's one game that we can kind of expect to win. And I'll get to that one in a minute. So obviously this Saturday we have Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Next Wednesday, the 15th, we are at home against Miami. Short
Yep.
week against our rival, just waxed us 5-0. They're flying high. Then May 18th, we have to go all the way out to California and play San Jose. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only team that's doing worse than us this year that we played during this stretch, but we have to play them in California. Then May 25th, we play reigning MLS Cup champs, Columbus Crew. And then after that, we play Chicago, who is currently right above us on the table, and it's in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really one match that theoretically we should win, but we have to take the 5-hour flight out to San Jose for the boys to play them, and we
Mm-hmm.
traditionally don't do well in
Yeah, it's
West
that,
Coast
that's why it's
matches.
more like 7 hours, John. Because I have flown to Phoenix, and that's 5.5 right there. Uh, you're absolutely right, my
So
friend.
what I'm getting to is it ain't looking good, people. It ain't looking good,
No.
folks.
You know what it is? What's going to happen is we win one game and people see like, there we go. You see, we got it. That's the problem though. It's like this game against Philly in a good season, this would be a challenging game.
Hmm.
During a good season, during last season when we had our players and we went away there and we won during the international call-ups,
Mm-hmm.
like to your point, that was the chance we had because we had like the OCB signings and they were there and we won. So maybe that's to our point earlier. Maybe that's what we need to do. Give those other players a chance. Give them an opportunity to prove themselves, and maybe that's the fire that the other players need. I mean, I know the three of us had talked about the movement of the players between the rosters. It would be nice if some of those OCB players can get an opportunity to play more. And who knows, maybe that is what the first team players need to light a fire under them, to get them out of their funk, to wake them up. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm at a loss here because nothing that we're talking about makes any sense in any kind of reality.
No,
We have
for
a couple
sure.
of
We
comments.
have two
I'm going to read
comments there by Jim D that are spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jim goes to say, Pride got a new striker. How come it hasn't taken 3 seasons for them to gel? Well, because Jim, the rules are different when it's not Orlando City. I feel like anytime any team has a new player, they gel. Somebody leaves here, they go somewhere else, they gel just
Boom,
fine.
explosive. Yeah.
So to your point, Jim, I'm with you, man. I agree.
His second message post there, it's of trouble because I saw that.
Yep, San
Um,
Jose just laid the smackdown on LAFC, and you know,
and I'm gonna tell you one thing: we're not a pride podcast, but what they have there going on, it's great, especially since the assistant manager and the manager are former Orlando City players.
But to go back
Uh,
to the thing
yeah,
about
go
the
ahead.
DTs recently is there's all the common denominator. They don't do well here, then generally they leave and they do well. Well, what's the difference? They're the same player coming in and going out.
All right, that
System, coach, you know.
we're gonna let the fans come up with their conclusions. We don't want to be accused, John, of inciting violence, like some happy clappers have said about us. Which,
I'm
by the
not
way, those
asking for
happy.
violence. I'm just asking for the team to win a couple games and
No,
they have
that's
a
what I'm
great
saying.
season
But
this year.
people who are more concerned about the seasoning on their grilled chicken and winning cornhole games and having the tent just right and drive down the turnpike with 4 or 5 flags flying on their cars. Listen, if you're into that, God bless you, man. But I'm here to win. I operate on Ric Flair attitude. That's what I'm doing. I just want to jet fly, limo ride, and keep the alligators down. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I can't help that I'm a winner. I can help that I'm a winner and that I want my club to mirror my winning ways. But we're not here to talk about me. Um, just to woo, there you go. Thank you, Messiah. You know it, baby. That's it. Woo. Anyhow, real quick on the Pride. The Pride is a textbook example of what not to do in a club. Disastrous. First year, they heavily loaded that that team with national team stars. So when the windows will come up, no team, basically no team, no team. Then they got rid of all their first picks for like 3 years. What kind of mentality tells you that you're gonna give away free players because the manager thinks that that's not important? The point is that Seb Hines, my respect to Headmaster Hines, a scholar, a gentleman. Anybody that had the opportunity to talk to Seb Hines knows that man loves Orlando bleeds purple, and it's talking to that man about football. It's like the meme of Grandpa Simpson sitting on the stump with all the kids. That's how I feel when I talk to him. The point is that they strategically got rid of the dead weight, all these aging stars that were not contributing, built through the draft, and then went and signed a blockbuster player. Let me rephrase that. They built smartly from the draft. They didn't have to spend millions, and they went and got a blockbuster player. I believe, and you correct me, that they have the last 8 games unbeaten.
Mhm.
God bless them. You know, they're great. They're a great team. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't follow the Pride simply because I don't have any more money to get another application, and I already sacrificed enough time going to Orlando City, podcasting, OCB, and all that. If I were to tell my wife, oh, and plus my overseas teams, if I were to tell my wife I need to take more time for football, the locks probably will be changed by the time I get home. But nonetheless, I'm happy for their success. But once again, in house, we are proving what we have said here: get the right people, and success will follow. And in my opinion, we have grown complacent in Orlando, and that's the reason why we are where we are, my friends. Um, if we can have a palate cleanser, Ahmed, and we can post the video of the tifo, something that we need to talk about, obviously.
Yep, right here.
Um, there we go. There we go. I would like to congratulate. I believe it was just the Rockets this time that contributed to it. The people that spent hours upon hours creating the tifo. The people that complain that it looked like crap. Well, maybe if you volunteer your time, you can have a piece of art. You know what I mean? I always refrain myself from criticizing the tifo because I don't go out there and paint for hours, design, and not for nothing. Here in Orlando, we had in the past some incredible tifos that I don't say it, world football supporters. I've seen several of these pages that just critique tifos, and they say that Orlando has some bangers. Unfortunately, most of those were never followed by results on the pitch, like the one with Negan and the Atlanta players. I thought that was
Mhm.
beautiful. Unfortunately, the night
Yeah.
had Jose Aja not closing in on I can't remember his name, the Argentinian guy who, by the way, nowhere to be found. That tells you how unbelievable that night was. A player that Atlanta threw away with the garbage managed to get them the glory that night. All right, guys. Well,
If
we're
somebody, real quick, this isn't a complaint or whatever,
yeah, go ahead,
just
brother.
clarification for me, and I can't. You guys know how great I am with names. The character they used on that Darth, and I can't remember his name. Basically, the character was a Jedi Knight that turned to the dark side. I was extremely confused why they used that for a typho. I mean, it looked cool, but I I just wish there was some clarity on most of the typos they make are pretty clean, straightforward. You know why they're
Right.
making them or what have you, but this one I was kind of confused about and why they chose the character they did. If there was some meaning to
It
it
was
or
an
something
obscure,
like that.
obscure reference. Some people are
Yeah.
asking, "What does this mean?"
I think
I
it was
just
probably
wanna
more something just around the Star Wars theme. It wasn't
yeah.
Yeah,
anything specific,
but
more
to me,
anything
like,
more than
wouldn't
that.
you use like Obi-Wan or Yoda or even like a Mace Windu since he has the purple lightsaber? Somebody like that would to me would have made more sense, especially like Mace Windu with the purple lightsaber. You know, purple,
You know what I would
purple.
have done? I would have chosen Yoda and say, "Win or lose, there is no try." I
Exactly.
give you
Yeah,
guys that one
something
for
that
next year.
simple. Yeah,
That's free, baby. That's free. That's free. Of course, Monday morning quarterbacking is not gonna help anybody. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, our
um,
tifos in the past have been My favorite's still the Florida man one we had riding the two alligators
Gators, yeah,
several
after the
years ago. That one
Listen,
was one of my favorites.
Florida man is, we should lobby our governor to set up a Florida man and women, because we have to be inclusive, day in Florida to celebrate all the greatness that our fellow deranged Floridians give us every week. Because if you're like me, you watch the news and you are shivering listening until they said a Florida man, and then you're like, crap, especially when I travel out of the state. I hate watching the local news, and they're like, a Florida man. I'm like, Jesus, we don't take a day off, baby. We don't take a day off. Imagine a Florida team full of Florida men. That would be disastrous. Um,
Effort would
tomorrow,
always be there. I can guarantee you that.
oh no, for sure. Listen, yeah, that's without a doubt, my friend. I would like to take the moment to remind everybody that tomorrow, May 7th, Tuesday, it's the beginning of the entry of the MLS teams into the Open Cup. And I would like to remind everybody of the games. Pittsburgh is going to be visiting Tulsa. Atlanta is going to be visiting Charlotte Independent. Talking about handing Atlanta the Open Cup of this year. It's sickening. Houston's going to be facing Detroit City. Dallas is going to be at Memphis. Our good friends at Calvary are actually facing Vancouver in the beginning. Excuse me. In the beginning of the Canadian Championship. San Jose is going to be facing Oakland Roots with their new signing, Don Dwyer. It's gonna be an interesting match. Orange County is gonna be receiving London FC going across country. And last we are going last for the night. Sacramento is gonna be facing Monterey Bay. I heard that Sacramento, knowing that the path is with less MLS teams, they're really hungry to go make that final once again. On Wednesday, Charleston is going to be visiting South or receiving South Georgia. Indy 11 is going to be receiving San Antonio. North Carolina is going to be facing Phoenix. New York City 2, Colorado Springs. The Tampa Bay Rowdies are going to be playing against Birmingham. United, Union Omaha is going to be facing Sporting Kansas City. New Mexico versus Salt Lake. Las Vegas against LAFC. Seattle against Louisville City. That's so I a lot to be proud of. Obviously, without us in the tournament, I'm gonna be supporting the Menos, the little guy, and hopefully, of course, I'm gonna be watching the game, Oakland Root San Jose. It's gonna tell us a little bit about the time of teams that we're gonna be facing soon, and also I want to make sure that Dom Dwyer, the man who owns the USL, in making his triumphant return, hopefully he gets the win. Guys, we're wrapping it up. And we have some comments. I'm sorry if we can read those.
Yeah, Misael Rosa said maybe a Trekkie made it. I'm guessing that was in relation to the Tifo. And then Colin
Uh-huh,
says
uh-huh.
his favorite Tifo was the Wolf of Wall Street one.
Oh yeah, that was a good one, a few years back, which was I believe 2022. And Usher, we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, guys. I can't quit on this team even if I wanted to. I don't know how. Let's touch this subject real quick, and I would like to hear your opinions on this, guys. These are the Eastern Conference standings at as of Monday, May 6th. Uh, Number one, Miami with 24 points, Cincinnati with 21, Toronto with 19, New York Red Bulls with 17, Columbus with 15, Charlotte with 14, New York City with 14. On that rounds of the playoffs. On the wild card games, Philadelphia with 14, DC with 14, and not making playoffs at this moment. Atlanta with 12, Montreal with 12, Nashville with 12, Chicago with 10, Orlando with 9, and New England with 7. And on the West Coast, RSL is up in the table with 21 points, followed by Minnesota with 20, LA with 19, Vancouver with 18, Colorado with 18, Austin with 16, LAFC with 15, Houston with 14, Seattle with 13, SKC with 11, Seattle with 10, Portland with 10, Dallas with 8, and San Jose with 7. If we were in the West Coast, I think our season will definitely will be over by now. And on the supporter shield, Orlando finds itself at 26 out of 29. This is definitely the most disastrous season in Orlando City history. And real quick, guys, one more thing. Our friends at OC Fan TV posted the results of the Oscar Pareja's last three season starts, and it's
Mm-hmm.
critical that we go over them because there's a lot of information on this. Going back to 2021, at this moment, we were 6-3-1-1 with 21 points, 17 goals for, 17 goals against, with a goal differential plus 10. 2022, 5-2-3, 17 points, 12 goals for, 11 against, with a goal differential of 1. 2023, 4-4, the season that we were screaming that we were not going to make playoffs. We actually have 14 points, 10 goals for, 10 against, with a 0 goal differential. In 2024, sit down, hold on to your chair when you hear this. 2, 3, and 5, 9 points, 11 goals for, 18 against, with a goal differential -7. Five of those goals in one game. And something that you should hear about is that in all of 2023, we had 7 losses. It's not even May 10th, and we already have 5. That's troublesome, guys. Anything to add to that?
Just goes back to what we were saying last year about this time, David. The league's catching up, and it's not looking pretty.
That's it.
I
We're
mean, we
sitting
thought we
by
were
one.
bad. Sorry,
No, no, go ahead.
we thought we were bad last year. This is a new low.
It's a new world, baby.
It's you know what it is. It's frustrating because you know the guys can do it. That I think that's the most frustrating part. You know that if they had the right combination of whatever the hell is missing, that they could do it. That's why we ended in second place. Whatever it is that's missing, whether it's a player or leadership, whatever is off. If it wasn't off, we have the potential as the team that we have to play and accurately compete. That was what I have video footage of early in the season. The MLS announcers were talking about it, and they played it back for them this last weekend, and they said they were eating their own words. And they, you know what, the one thing they brought up was Muriel. They're like, he's your DP, 0 goals in 9 games. Well, now it's 10, and that's your DP. You know, back to I don't know who Jim D's point about the pride. Their DP's here. She's scoring goals. So what? I mean, come on. That it's frustrating. It's just frustrating, man.
It is frustrating.
If you're not frustrated, you need to seek mental assistance.
If you care, you're mad. I'm sorry. If you care,
Exactly.
you're mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's
If
just
you're
like why do we do
indifferent,
this to ourselves?
you care more about happy clapping. And once again, anybody that is proud of that moniker needs their head examined. Is an insult.
And it's
So
not and it's not that we don't think the players are giving it everything they have. You know, by saying what we're saying, it's you know the guys are giving it everything they have. I mean, hello, 2 of them were stretchered off, basically. You know what I mean? Nobody's saying that the guys aren't giving it everything they have, but as a team, we're not functioning as a team right now. I don't care what you prove me wrong, but the results prove that,
I'm
right?
gonna tell you, and with without trying to disrespect people or offend anybody. Um, right now, the way we're playing to me is more of a bonsai bayonet charge. And for those that are study history, those of us that were in the military, we had to in boot camp learn about military history. We know that during World War II, once Japanese troops knew that there was no chance that we're going to win, they will fix bayonets on the rifles and they will just attack the enemy, knowing that they were going to get mowed down. And while is a sign of bravery and never say never, and we're not going to surrender attitude, it's fruitless. One thing is to give your life for to get an objective and achieve something, the other one is like that, and that's what we're doing right now. I think, uh, our players got hurt, and my heart goes out to them, speedy recovery. But if we're bleeding like that in a loss for no reason, now we have a red card. Schlegel's going to be available for selection come Wednesday. Sorry, come Saturday. So this, my friends, this was just a waste of everybody's time. We need to find our place. We need to find that spirit, the core that we had, and a lot of people felt, hey, when the guys had the bye week, perhaps that was the moment to, like, sing kumbaya and find one another. But unfortunately, hasn't happened. Guys, anything else to say before we say goodbye?
No, man, I'm good.
You
No.
know, I
Okay.
could say more, David, but I don't feel like it right
Yeah.
now.
Well,
Risk.
we're people gotta go to bed at some point. All right, guys. Thank you very much for everybody that joined us live. We had over 30 something people tonight. Thank you to Will who joined us tonight on the show. Thank you for everybody that commented. Thank you for everybody that's going to be watching this show later on YouTube. And thank you very much for all those that are listening to us on audio. I know that a lot of you have told me you listen on the way to work or on the way back, at the gym, doing chores at home, and I tell you that it brings a lot of happiness to me that we're growing a fan base of people that love the club and that want us to do better. With that said, I'd like to remind everybody that football is played on grass, not on paper. That football is cruel and unpredictable. That football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. That if you haven't cried over football for joy or anger, have you really football? Thank you very much. We're going to see you next week. May God bless you. And from myself, Ahmed, and John, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!